Good morning, Seaside. Wow, I got a lot of electricity flowing through me. Good morning, Seaside. My name is Rosedale Jones, and I am so happy to be a practitioner here at Seaside. Give the band a great round of applause. Seaside Band, they are so awesome. Before I give you a couple of pointers, I'm just going to give you a few things, and the rest of the information you can get from the family room and also into your program. I want to introduce the person holding the light, the beautiful Linda Light, holding the light for our service. It's always a pleasure knowing that ambiance is being just held for us, where all the love goes and belongs, prosperity, health, abundance, or any other good quality that you can possibly bring to your heart. It's being held right now over our service. So Thursday, November 14th at 7 p.m., the Holiday Support Circle is going to be holding a circle that day for people who will be coping with grief. That's the name of it, at the holidays. And if at any time, please do not be shy. Come out, be with people, if that's what you do. Now, you can check that out in the flyer that's back in the family room if you haven't done so already. And on Sunday, December 8th, Reverend Lori Sheets is doing a workshop called Acceptance and You. In this particular workshop, you're going to shift from judgment to self-acceptance. And I think you'd rather have the self-acceptance. So don't be a fly on the wall, show up. So that'll be a good thing. Also, I want to call Sharon De Leon. She's going to talk about something really fabulous for us.
Well, I don't know about you girls, but it's really hard to make orange work, It's really, but I can see a lot of you did a really good job with it, so good for you. But what I do want to talk to you about today is to definitely save the date for November 24th. We're having a Gifts of the Heart Harvest Festival, where we're going to be celebrating our 25th anniversary, Seaside's 25th anniversary, and we're going to have lots of things happening that day, one of which is a chili cook-off. And so there's sign-ups in the back if you would like to have the bragging rights for having the best chili here at Seaside. There's going to be so many things going on, everything for everybody in all ages. Some of the things we're going to be having is a dress-up photo booth, so not just for kids, for everybody, that you can dress up and play dress up. And what else? Oh, we're going to have a 20-foot slide that adults and children can slide down. And what else are we having? Games, all kinds of prizes for everybody. And what I really want to do is invite you, if you're an artist or an artisan that maybe has a talent, something that you've been doing that maybe you haven't shared with us here at Seaside, to sign up so that you can show your art or sell your art or perhaps teach what you do. We're also going to have a author's corner, so if you're a published author and maybe we don't know about that, please sign up for that. And please sign up for the chili cook-off too. Thanks.
And one more thing I forgot to mention. At the end of the first service, I noticed there were samples in the back where the cookbooks are, and they made this fabulous red bean chili. It's to live for. And when you get ready to go, make sure you look at Rick. He's got that zucchini bread. So I'm just saying, that's all I'm just saying. Now, also, Wednesday night, you want to join Reverend Sunshine Day. She's having this awesome Wednesday, as always. I've come to several of them. But I noticed that this month is, I believe, that's the name of the theme of it, but it's going to be Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, her talk. So when I think about that, I would hate to be a fly on the wall for that one, too. I'd like to be here for that. So maybe you may want to get a chance to check that out as well. So, parents, listen to me. Would you like a night out? Yes. Your kids from ages 2 to 10, would you like a night out? Okay, watch this. On November 15th, the teens and the advisors for the family portion of us, will be having the kids sleep over here. 2 to 10. You don't even sound that excited, but anyway, if I had a 2-year-old and I need to get away, I'd be excited. But anyway, there is also a $20 offering for that. But please support us and come on out, because this is to help the teens with the camp, to pay their way through camp. So guys and girls and ladies and gents, whatever you're doing today, stand up, hug, love, wave to your neighbor, and enjoy your service.
All right, please remain standing. Time for our congregational song together this morning. We're singing, I'm choosing heaven today. That's today. Right now. All right, here we go. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing grace today. I'm choosing grace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing grace today. I'm choosing compassion today. I'm choosing compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing compassion today. Well, I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing joy today. Well, I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing abundance. I'm choosing abundance today. I'm choosing abundance. I'm choosing abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing abundance today. I'm choosing heaven. Okay. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Woo, sounded good. I
That's
like
today.
it. Hey, good morning, Seaside. What a joy it is to be with you on this fabulous day. You are looking good in orange. You have got the orange memo, so that's a good sign. And those of you that may be new with us today, what we have been doing is relating colors to the spiritual messages of the last couple weeks. And so every time we see blue, we're thinking about the spiritual principle. When you cast it out on the waters, that what comes back to you. Last week, we talked about our self-worth. So every time we're seeing that rose, we recognize, or that red, we recognize how valuable, how worthy, how entitled you are to experience God's good, God's grace. And today is orange. Hence, everybody's wearing orange around here, so that's a good thing. And so every time we see orange, it is to prompt our subjective through the course of the week to remember faith. Faith is the factor that is going to transform life. It is going to make what happens in your world a for sure thing, and those with great faith have great power, and we'll be talking about that. And so orange is the color today. The flowers are beautiful. Wolf and Rosalind were at the first service. They gave it in honor of Mom and Seaside and the grace that is here. And there's a lot of good going on here. So welcome to Seaside, Spiritual Nexus, inspiring us to live our divinity. It is a place that puts spirit first, and to take us into that deeper place is Nancy Washoe. Nancy?
Please join me in a moment of stillness. God is all there is. God is that light and that love that uplifts and moves through all of life. And I am one with this light, this source that is God. It flows through it as and with me. I am sourced by God's love and light, and I am one with God. And I know that this service unfolds in the divine perfection of God. That God passion, that love, that light that flows through and is Dr. Reverend Christian. I know that he moves and shares his passion and his love for God as he is that conduit of love and light in God. And I know that the music that accompanies this service today just embraces, embodies, and brings us to that warm place of light and love where God is. I know that all is good, and God is all there is, and so it is.
It's about you and I, sharing love the first time, touching hearts, beating rhymes, lifting joy in one mind. Letting go of the past, knowing love will last. In the truth we are blessed, giving you my very best, and forever joining part in forever from the start. And forever the stars will chart together, gifts of the heart, gifts of the heart, gifts of the heart.
Wow, that's Reverend Fran. Did you write that? Yeah. That was beautiful. Good job. Good job. Thank you. We are so blessed to have you and your talent here. Thank you. I'm Reverend Tammy Mars. It's my joy to welcome you all here. You should see it from up here with all this orange. It looks so great. It looks awesome. So great. Thank you for participating in that. I just want to welcome you here today. You know, it always warms my heart when we get together. Those of like mind, it truly is like our family. We know that we can come together and people see the love and the light that we are. We're lifted up, as the Bible said, we become the vibration of the Most High, with all of these individuals coming together with one intention, and then that is to know and to express and to be and to remember the infinite awesomeness of this divine. We know that which we put our attention on expands, and all of us have come together with our attention on God, and we all benefit from it. And I know we go out into the world and make a huge difference. So thank you for your yes. Thank you for you being here and sharing this and lifting us all up by your presence. We're grateful that you're here. And if you're brand new to this teaching, Science of Mind and Spirit is just that. It's about the living the great wisdom that is brought forth in the many facets of teaching through religion and philosophy and science. It's about the practical application, as Ernest Holmes says. It's about the living of it. And we get the many sources. We celebrate all of the sources from which that wisdom comes forth. And if you are brand new, as I mentioned, we have a class that's called the Basic Beliefs. It's the first Sunday of every month. That's today. It's held after this service, right afterwards, 12:30 in the Quimby room, which is the first room off the lobby there. And it's about an hour. It's informal. You'll get a packet and information on this philosophy and ways that you can integrate it further into your life. So I invite you to come to that class, Basic Beliefs, today. And if for any reason you're busy today, it's the first Sunday of every month. So come join us in that and apply this in a deeper way in your world. Also, for those people that are brand new, we have a welcome table. And back there we have some wonderful gifts for you, and Science of Mind magazine, and a book from Reverend Christian that you can pick up in the bookstore. And just a way of saying thank you for coming forth and sharing your day with us today. So be sure to see the welcome table. One of the main principles that we share is that of giving and that of tithing. We know that God uses each and every one of us, uses our hands and our thoughts and our lives, of which to bring forth into the everyday existence the wonderful essence that God is. And we have a ministry that's called the Heart to Heart Ministry, and we honor them once a month. And it's ways in which we can literally go out into the community and take the love and the grace and the peace and the joy and the wonderfulness that we are out to other people, to physically do that. So we're honoring a project today that's called the Interfaith Shelter. I want to call forth Sunny Goodwin. To share with us about this.
Well, this year, once again, we are hosting the Interfaith Rotational Shelter. It will be this year at St. Anne's Church in South Oceanside. We have come into the modern age. We have Sign Up Genius going, which means that we are able to sign everybody up online. If you're interested in helping as an overnight host, dinner host, or even donating items or cash or checks, you can see me in the back. Our table's very visible, and we are so blessed to be able to do this every year. It comes from my heart. I've been there myself. And it is a wonderful gift. These people are carefully screened by CRC. They're transitional in that they are looking for work or working, and they're a great group of people. So we're hoping you'll join us in that effort one more time. Give us your email, and you can do everything online this year. So thank you.
Okay. On behalf of Seaside, we want to make another donation to the shelter to help with the food in any way that it might be necessary. So thank you so much. Good works going on. All right, so it's time for us to begin our service, and let's do that by moving into that beautiful sacred space within. I invite you to close your eyes, if that feels comfortable, and move into that heart space. For it's in that heart space that is that inner sanctuary that is open that is available for this infinite wisdom to flow through, for this good to have a place to express, to have a vehicle through which it can touch lives in magnificent ways. For I know there is one power and there is one presence, and that power and presence is God, and that power and presence is my life now. For there is no separation. Every activity of my being is the activity of God in motion. I claim that and I know that. I put my attention and my intention on that beauty and that awe and that presence that is everywhere present. For I know that love is flowing in its fullness always, that peace is flowing, that joy is flowing, that wholeness and abundance is flowing always. And it moves and has its being as each and every one of us. And so it's with this deep, deep knowing that I bless us. I bless this service. I bless this good that is unfolding. I bless the message that we all get to hear today and what we get to remember going forth, being the light that is God. And so it's with that I release this word with eyes wide open as I watch the miraculous movement of God everywhere present through and as everyone. I give great thanks and I allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning, everybody. How are ya? You're looking good in orange. You really are. You really are. I didn't get the pink. That doesn't matter. Listen, I want to tell you I am blessed to be here, and I want to thank everybody for coming today because you have set yourself up for a wonderful experience, and that is of our guest artist as well as Dr. Christian's message, which I heard every word the first service. I'm telling you, it's really good. So, all right, Marlo Morris has turned 12 years old. She's busy with many local performances with Carlsbad Showcase Company, and she's auditioning for Tinkerbell and Peter Pan tomorrow. We want to send her on her way with a great deal of joy. And she loves dancing and singing, and she has lots of friends at school, and her mother wrote this with crayons, so it's hard to figure this out. Today she is singing for her great-grandmother's birthday, which is today. Would you please welcome back to our stage Miss Marlo Morris.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, today, today. One day, today, today. One day this all will change. Treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like why-oh, why-oh, all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. One day, today, today.
Hey, this is Marla Morris. Beautiful. Oh, my goodness. With a face like this, a voice like this, and a name like this, my goodness, Tinkerbell's is yours tomorrow. We know that for you. And even greater things. Thank you. My goodness. Today, today, did not everyone's 12-year-old just wake up inside of you? It is that part that was innocent, that believed, that had a faith that the world was just infinite possibilities for you. That's the faith I want to touch on. I don't know, I can talk all morning. I don't know if you can feel what you just felt there. But that is the faith factor that will transform your life, that will bring the opportunities to you, that will open the doors that have been closed, that will bring the people across your path that you've been waiting to meet. That is the power of the faith factor that I want you to get this morning. If you ever drove a stick shift, doesn't even have to be a stick shift, but I remember when I had one once and went through a lot of clutches with it, learning this. But you're driving along, you're like third gear, and all of a sudden you gear up. First service, I said you shift down, but they told me it's gear up. I just remember the engine light would just kick in. It wouldn't work as hard, and it would go faster, and then go into fifth gear, and all of a sudden the RPMs would drop, but yet you were going faster, and you were going further, and it was like this accelerated pace, and the engine didn't have to work anymore. That is what the faith factor will do for you. It will move you from that lower gear to that higher gear, because it is built and designed to take you further, faster in your life. And all of a sudden, you hear how prolonged situations appear to be. You hear the prognosis. You hear the doctors say it may take years to recover from that brain injury, or it may take years to go through all the surgeries or the processes to heal something. I once had someone who could barely talk after a stroke say it was going to take years to get their mobility and words back. And a couple months later, they came walking through here and said, "Hey, Christian, look at this. It works." That's what begins to happen with the faith factor. All of a sudden, that debt that you thought you would finally get paid off by the time you were 97, and I'm going to make it to heaven debt-free, it's like, boom, something shifts. That 30-year house loan all of a sudden gets paid off in the blink of an eye. All of a sudden, that contact that you needed to make calls you. All of a sudden, you get that inheritance. All of a sudden, something shows up in your life, that dynamic that allows you to accelerate to a new kind of place. This is what faith can do. If you are willing to open up to a greater possibility than what you can figure out, you shift up, gear up, and all of a sudden, you move further, faster in your life, and things begin to pour forth, and all you know is, wow, I am living in the flow now. Yes. People will say, Christian, but I just don't think that's so. I don't have any rich relatives in my world. And I'm first saying, but my Heavenly Father is rich. And those ways into my experience are many. And you can choose not to believe. You can choose to argue for your limitations. And as Ernest Holmes says, they're yours. You can say what you want. But Christian, you're just getting us excited. You're just getting us going and seeing that, there's a possibility there. Yes. And, but I don't believe it. Well, then this message isn't for you. This message are for those who want to believe. This is a message for believers. This is a message for those who want to have greater faith in their life and have the manifestations and the demonstrations that come from gearing up and moving further faster in their life. This is who this message is for. So, you get rejected after I got you all excited. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get the contract. It doesn't mean you're not going to get the loan. It doesn't mean your perfect deal isn't about to be put through. All it means is that one didn't go through. Even if the door gets slammed in your face a dozen times, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to eat dog food because the price of gas has gone up. You take a breath, you breathe, you pay your bills, or you renegotiate, and you move forward in your life. And realize that if you are an entrepreneur, if you're an independent agent, you're self-employed, you're out there on your own, life has fluctuations. Things happen. There's ambiguity. And if it's showing up in your world, you get over it because that is the way it works when you're out there being out there on your own. And I have heard all sorts of stories how it's not working because of the economy, because Mercury's in retrograde. I had a bad day at yoga. My insurance premiums went up. Alien invasion. The stories are many that are out there. And I listen to them because that's my job. But what I really want to hear is your vision, is your passion. I want to know where you want my faith to go. I want to hear what turns you on, puts the sparkle in your eyes, puts the fire in your belly, gets your juices going, gets your blood pumping. I want to hear that vision that you have for yourself in your life. That's what I can get excited about. That's where I want to gear up and begin to know for you that truth is manifesting in your life. Give up those stories because I don't care who your villain or your idiot is in your life. What I want to know is what turns you on. That's what I can back for you. Yeah. And with that faith factor, I'm going to throw in a little more of a twist here. It can shift like that. Remember the story? Jesus at the wedding, they had a reception afterwards. They ran out of wine, and mom said to her kid, "Hey, Jesus, man, I know what you're capable of doing. Would you give us some wine?" And Jesus said, "Mom, man, don't embarrass me like that." It's not my time to be doing that. And mom knows what her son's capable of doing, also knows what a mom can do with guilt with her son. I'm telling my son what to do. I know he's going to do it. So you guys get ready for whatever he asks. Finally says, okay, get those 6, whatever, they put water in those days, those big 6 vats, I don't know. But casks. There you go, casks. 6 of them anyway, lots of them. Fill them up with water. So they fill them up with water, and they go and they scoop it up, and a ladle of wine, it is so fine that they take it to the host, they take it to the groom, and they say, "Oh my goodness, you guys, usually you serve the good stuff first and the cheap stuff later after they've been drinking." But you served the cheap stuff, and now we got the good stuff here. I got to tell you, there is something that can happen as quickly as water can be changed into wine, but that is what you have to believe, that it can happen that quickly for you, that you can bring forth that Spirit into your life. I got to tell you, Jesus was invited to parties not because he was a serious spiritual guy, but because he was a fun person. He'd be the first on my list, I'll tell you that. Where are you placing your faith in your life? Where is it that you are believing? Because that is what grows for you. That is what begins to expand for you. Ernest Holmes, he talked a lot about faith. He wrote a whole chapter in his book called The Science of Mind about faith. And he said, those with great faith have great power. You can heal the sick or you can create wine. It doesn't matter. But as you shift into that higher gear, you have a power that can transform. And he then asks, so why is it that some people's prayers are answered and others aren't? It's not because God cares more for some than others, but because some have a greater faith. They have a greater belief. The power of prayer is in the prayer, the one that is doing the prayer. They become that conduit and that expression. Ernest says that faith is an affirmative mental approach to reality. Got that? It's an affirmative mental approach to reality. I'm moving forth in life with a belief and an assurance that the door is going to open. I don't know how it's going to open. I'm moving forward in life that I'm going to get that phone call that's going to make the difference in my world, that will allow that abundance to flow into my experience. I'm going to take the actions that allow that Spirit to show up. He also says that someone once said that the world is suffering from only one big fear, and that is the fear that God will not answer our prayers. A fear that with lack, that Spirit isn't supply, that Spirit won't take care of you. A fear of disease or fear of losing one's relationship or their property, what have you, is a fear that God is not what we say. Omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. All-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere. That is what is available right there in that moment. And so fear, according to Ernest, is a misdirected faith. I'm putting my fear in the faith. I'm traumatizing myself with all these fears of what could happen in my life. It is a misdirected faith. Fear is misplaced faith. It is a belief in two powers instead of one. It is a belief that Spirit really isn't infinite, that there could be something else that is there. And so as you begin to offer up the other possibilities for the negativity, the disease, the littleness to come into your life and your world, it begins to work away right there in that space in your life. My writing in the Joyous Journal on Friday, one of my best spiritual ones, one of my favorites. I encourage you to read it if you didn't, but I used the Kabbalah as a quote in there that said, misdirected life energy is the activity of the disease process. And disease doesn't have a life force other than what it borrows from other organism. Disease has to borrow its energy or its life force from the other organism. The disease needs a host. Without your body, disease can't live. Without you supporting the lack, the scarcity, the problem, and the lack of ease in your life, it can't be there. Because we are living in an abundant universe. We cast upon the waters is what comes back to us. That was the blue color we had talked about, the spiritual principle. And so as you begin to come from a place of abundance, you'll realize that if I have a challenge in my life, it's not the end of the world. I've got to have faith that there's something to know. Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, he said, where you stumble, that's where your treasure is. Where you stumble, where you have the challenge, where you have the difficulty, where you have the constraint, where you have the angst, call it what you want. There's something there for you to know, to discover about yourself, about who you are. You've got to go below the surface to discover where the treasure is. It doesn't just sit on the top. So where you trip is that spot that says, you know what, there's something more to discover here about my life. I'm not going to allow this situation to stop me. I'm going to have faith that there's something greater than what is appearing. I always loved the story from the Great Chicago Fire. There was a man who had his store in that area that got burned down to the ground. The place was devastated. He showed up the next day right where his shop had been with a table, that he set up with a sign in just the midst of the charred debris that said, I lost everything except my wife, my children, and my hope. Business starts tomorrow as normal. That is a belief. That is a deep knowingness. That is a conviction that is not based upon what is going on out there in the world. When you have yourself that is filled with the deep faith and knowledge of God, that you're coming from a full reservoir of the infinite supply of Spirit, then you can have a challenge, and it's not the end of the world. It's not as if you just got robbed of your little bit of belief. That reservoir of your being is full, it is rich, it is deep. There's a wellspring that is inexhaustible there. If you're playing cards and you got a bunch of poker chips here, you can make bets that are a little risky, lose them, not the end of the thing. But if you're down to your last couple chips, it's like, I don't know, should I put it out there? And if it gets taken, it's like, oh, I'm gone. It's tough. You've got to come from the overflow in your life and know that the faith opens up that door, that channel that allows that flow of greater good to show up in your life beyond what it is that you had figured out. There was this artist who you may have heard of, or actually saw a video, Bansky. He's an artist from England. You may have heard, you saw this one. It's pretty good. Here's this guy, fairly famous over in England, comes to New York, thought it would be fun to do the sidewalk sales. You know how you got the vendors on the streets trying to sell their wares. So here's this well-to-do artist out there just having fun with it. His life's not dependent upon it. It was a few hours before this one lady came by and wanted to buy this little picture that he had done. And she just haggled, and they went back and forth for a little picture. Finally, she got 2 pictures for the price of one. Basically, she bought his art for 50% off. It wasn't until later in the day that a young guy came, got a new apartment, wanted to fill his wall with some artwork, so he negotiated and ended up buying bigger ones, 4 big ones for his wall. So at the end of the day, Bansky went home with $400 in his pocket, which isn't going to support anybody living in New York for a week on $400 and his price. No. But it didn't bother him because Bansky, a little earlier, sold a painting called Space Girl and Bird for $570,000. And in 2008, he sold a picture that he did called Keep It Spotless for $1,870,000 at Sotheby's. I got to tell you how happy that kid who bought 4 big paintings is right now that is hanging on his wall. But it didn't make or break Vance. He was just having fun. When you're coming from that place, you don't need validation from life. You don't need validation. You have got a faith that runs deep to that inexhaustible reservoir, that wellspring that cannot be shaken. There is an unshakable conviction that is about you. And when it's shaking, and when there's questions, it's time to change the picture. Václav Havel said, a great writer, first president Czech Republic, he said that to change the worldview, you've got to shift your perspective. You've got to change the picture. And it makes all the artists very important right now. And so those artists that are painting the picture with their words on the canvases are important. But I want you to realize that all of us are social artists. There's a social artistry that is being called forth from you. You are the deliverer of the new picture, the new image, the new way of being, the new thought, the new way of addressing the concerns that are on this planet. You're bringing forth a conviction that is coming from the fullness of being with a faith that is unshakable, that you are now shifting into a higher gear and moving faster, further, in an accelerated pace to have those doors open that bring the resolution to the conflicts that are going on for you and the world in which you are walking. When you are so clear that you are that conduit because your faith has hooked you up, there is nothing that can deny that. And what life will continue to do is to give you options to bring a new picture or an interpretation to what is going on out there in your life. Life presents and you interpret it. Do you interpret it with faith or a new way of seeing, or do you fall into the pigeonholes of how it's been prescribed? Bob, our saxophone player, sent me a test question from a job interview. I don't think he took it because I think I heard it before. But it's an interesting question that they put out to these applicants, and these particular this particular agency or whoever put out the job applications to over 200 people, there was a question that said, you're driving down the road in your Corvette. There is a wild, windy winter storm that is just blowing like crazy. And you pass a bus stop. And at that bus stop, you see an old lady who looks like she is about to die, probably getting on the bus to emergency to save her life. A longtime friend you haven't seen since they saved your life. And the dream partner that you've always fantasized about. Now, what comes down here is the moral and ethical question. There's only one seat to pick somebody up in your Corvette. As you're going by, the test question for the job application and interview is, what person would you pick up? And the person out of 200 who got this, who is the one who just simply said, I'd pull over, I'd give the keys to my best friend, tell him to take the old lady, and I'd wait at the bus stop for the next bus with my soulmate. There are answers outside the box that we just sometimes are unwilling to go to. But what we have got to remember, we are the storytellers in our life. And the storytellers are not neutral. The storytellers are interpreters, and this is how they deliver the message. Are you delivering a message of faith, or are you delivering the message of concern, believing that there are two powers, that life really is messed up? Or are you believing with a faith from a high place that there is an answer here? Because I'll tell you what, the narrative can come from a Chicken Little, the sky is falling, to that guilt-inflicting parent, to the one who walks through the valley of the shadow of death and fears no evil. It is the narrative, it is the story, it is the picture that you're painting, and I am here to encourage, to bring the faith factor to your delivery of the message or the picture that you have to put out there. Because as soon as you get into a battle, I wrote this today, I would have read it, but we didn't have the time. But as soon as you battle that concern and that fear in your world, you've lost. Because what you have done is you have just lent your energy and power to that which of itself has no real source to sustain it other than the borrowed energy from the host, which is you in that moment. But Christian, I'll tell you, it's not going to take 30 years to pay off that house mortgage. Well, according to economic law it is, but I'm dealing with a spiritual law. But Christian, the doctor says it's going to take this long to heal. Well, that's a physiological law, but I'll tell you, I am dealing with a spiritual law, and I'm going to put my faith in something that is just absolute, that transcends anything I know, that is outside the box, and I'm going to listen to that. The quote from the day is Lily Tomlin's classic that says, when I talk to God, it's prayer. And when God talks to me, it's called schizophrenia. You get to decide. Am I going to create a battle here, or I'm going to listen to an easier way through, an answer that may be outside of the box of what I think is possible? Or am I going to stir it up? There was a kid whose parents he was their only son, and they sent him off to college with high hopes, and he got low grades and got kicked out of school. And so he emailed Mom. He said, Mom, I know how important this was to you and Dad, but I failed every class. I flunked out of school. I'm out. Prepare Pops. She wrote back the next day, Pops prepared. Prepare yourself. What are you putting out there? It's coming back. Let's put out that you are worthy, you're entitled, you're an expression of spirit, you are that conduit through which God is expressing here in this world. But I find so often when people work on this faith thing and they put their faith in God. And what I want to point out is from this chapter on faith that Ernest wrote about, is that you don't want to put your faith in God, because as soon as you're putting your faith in something, it is something outside of you. And whether it is God, or whether it is the economic times, or whether it is a doctor's report, you're putting your faith in something that is outside of you. What you want is not a faith in God, but the faith of God. You want to be that place where Spirit is expressing unobstructed, moving into manifestation and into form. It's only 2 letters, but there are significant 2 letters there. I am going to be the place where I have the faith of God. I'm going to gear up and move further, faster, at an accelerated pace, where all of a sudden wine is coming from water instantly in the twinkling of an eye, and I don't have to wait years for it to age and to get better. Instantly, my life is good. But I've got to remember that my partnership is with God. I've got to remember that it is Spirit that comes first in all things. And so what we've been working on the last few weeks is these wonderful prosperity principles. In a couple weeks, I'm going to say, hey, it's time for Seaside to come together in our pledge and what our intention is for this upcoming year. And what is important is to remember that we've got to put God first always in all things in all ways. And this is why systematic giving, that aspect of putting Spirit forward always first, it begins to close the gap between that which creates fear, that which begins to look bigger than what it is I can do. All of a sudden, as we continue to systematically put Spirit first in all areas of our life, what begins to happen is Spirit shows up instantly, quickly, because there are not 2, there's only God, there's only one. And so what I want to do and know is that I live in the omnipresent abundance of the universe, that prosperity is abundance, and this is the natural state of Spirit, which is the natural state of who I am in this world. And so as I walk that, as I be that, as I express that, there is transformation in my life in ways in which I had not planned, but I have a faith. I have a faith of God, and it is the faith factor that transforms my world and moves me down the road in a way that is swifter than I ever thought was possible. Yes. I love the story of Billy Graham when he was starting out. And he was doing good. I mean, he was doing these big tent revivals and big auditoriums. He would show up in a town and people would show up. But it wasn't like a national prominence. And, what was his theme song? Lift Me Up. What's that one? He lifts me up. What is it? He lifts me up. Yeah, the shows would start with that. It was before he had hit that big time, but there was this faith that had started all of it. That Spirit, he'll lift me up. It is a Spirit that moves. And he continued to put Spirit out there first. And in the summer of 49, he had come to Los Angeles and rented a big place. And he did his thing that night. And there was a person in the crowd, unbeknownst to him, by the name of William Randolph Hearst, who had his heart broken open, who all of a sudden was moved by the Spirit that night. Not a religion, but by a Spirit that night that transcends any dogmas or creeds, that he was so moved that he went home that night, and as most of you probably know, is that he had a chain of newspapers across the nation. He called all the publishers that night and said, I want put out a positive story on this minister by the name of Reverend Billy Graham, and the next week he moved into national prominence and has never looked back because one person was touched. And it's not like Billy Graham went looking for this guy. He was doing the Spirit's work. He was putting Spirit first. He was doing his calling. He was having great faith, and somebody came looking for him. Someone stood up out of the crowd and said, you know what? You have touched me. I want to share what it is I can do in my life to make a difference here. When you are coming from that place of faith and remembering Spirit first in your life and knowing that there is something beyond what you are thinking is possible, that things can shift, that Spirit shows up unbeknownst. You don't have to go looking. They'll come knocking on your door with the answer, with the support, with the word, with the transformation for you that you have wanted. But you can't give your power away to that which seems to be looming out there. And there is always something looming out there from the beginning of time. And so as one thinks that today is harder and more difficult, or that the nights are longer and darker than ever before, I want you to know it is only because you've lost the faith. If you've got the faith, the light is on and the darkness is gone. There's people who say, yeah, but the stakes are a lot higher these days with the markets and with the planet. But I got to tell you what, with faith, there is nothing greater than God. There is no higher, stronger, or bigger. There is no darkness. There's always been those tough times. There's always been the fluctuation. There's always been the ambiguity. And as you, as a private agent independent contractor, entrepreneur. You get to walk through this world that has its ups and downs, but with a faith that doesn't determine what it is that you are here to deliver. And you are here to deliver a new thought, a new story, a new picture, and have the faith that everything that is necessary to bring it into form is there. And as you have this faith factor, you gear up and move further, faster, at an accelerated pace to bring forth the vision that you have been entrusted with. God bless you and all of us for doing that. Thank you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Marlo Morris back to the stage. All right.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. Raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
That is Marlo Morris. Billy Graham would have been blessed to have you start his show. Thank you. Oh, yes. Wow. From the mouth of babes. For sure. Hey, this is the time of our service where we have the opportunity to unite together in our givingness and our sharing and just putting Spirit first in our life. It is that regular, systematic approach to Spirit that allows us to regularly know that Spirit is always present in our life, that can meet all that ever comes before us. Because we turn to God first and know that is what prevails in our life. So as you give, it comes back. It's not why you give, but what you send forth is what comes back. That is how it works. And when you are coming from a place of joy, and when you're coming from a place of overflow, when you're coming from a place of knowing there's this inexhaustible reservoir from which Spirit flows, you become the activity in which it moves in your life and multiplies from your statement of activity. And so you are that activity in your life right now. And so I invite you to listen to your heart and allow that to be that which leads you. I want to invite our ushers to come forward at this time and say thank you to this wonderful crew. I want to say thank you to those that send in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday, or send them in advance, or remember us with their auto tithe, that regular systematic support from your world. I know right now that that kind of giving just comes back multiplied many times. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that Seaside continues to be that place where the abundance of life flows, that the good, prospering, expanding power of greater life has its way. Truly, that Seaside continues to be an example of those that put Spirit first just regularly, consistently within their life, and know that it is God that gives the power to experience the wealth. And so send this forth with a joy and appreciation for the blessings it has been in life, and the feel good that comes forth knowing that it continues to be even greater blessings as it moves in other realms of expression. So grateful for this moment to see the spot in which I play. I say thank you. And it's from this I let it go. And so it is. Amen. And together let us say the sharing of this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. As I stand before this joyous expression, this just beautiful expression of love, I know right now this ever-expanding, abundant good has its way through the heart and soul of Seaside, for it comes from a good place, a pure place, a God place, and can't help but to bring blessings to the activities of this spiritual community, supporting the good that we are doing here in life, knowing that it is supported by God as each of us. For this wellspring of expanding good comes from a wonderful place, and I know that the place from which it comes is filled up and overflowed with even greater good. It is received and loved, it is taken care of in good stewardship and sent forth back into that wonderful flow of life. Grateful to be part of an abundant spiritual community. I know right now that those blessings are for all of us to live, and so it is. Amen. All right. This is Rick Mars, always there, helping us out. Thank you. There on the piano, Lynn Willard. Behind him is Jerry. Wearing their own tie is Tom. And standing up there in the orange is Bob Mathis. Great job, guys. And speaking of a great job with music is Marlo Morris. How fabulous. Going from Seaside to American Idol. I see it now, so it's yours. Thank you. Reverend Fran, bless you for the wonderful artistry you bring to our community. Reverend Tammy, always a joy to share Sundays with you. Giving us sound in the back is Ed. Giving us the visual is Marv. Great job, guys. Know that there's CDs available right after the service. And there's Timothy standing up and sitting on his perch, sending this message out to the world. We are making a difference on this planet. And we consistently have emails coming in from around the world of people that are being touched by what's going on here. So thank you for sending that out. Hey, there's a lot going on at Seaside. Like right after the service in the back room down the hall is inside, not inside, it tells you what's going on. It's this wonderful philosophy. We call it the basic beliefs of the teaching. So if you're curious or have questions, we've got a wonderful, just short class that answers questions and shares some information. Also today, there's a wonderful musical expression with Seaside Choir and Candace's choir from the Community Resource. It's a center, it's an interfaith choir, and all the proceeds are going to the Community Resource Center. If you saw that I wrote inside Seaside that we are going to touch 1,500 people with the community outreach baskets, I was incorrect. It's 1,500 family. And Candace, how many people are touched by this? There's 7,000 people that are fed, that are given gifts for the holidays through the holiday project. So proceeds from that service is where that's going for sure. And hey, an exciting thing happened for me. I guess that's exciting. My Facebook page got so full that it had to be shifted to a fan page out of all things. But so I want to invite you to go to, I think it's facebook.com/Reverend Christian Sorensen and like it, because I don't want to be unlikable out there in the world. So it's a new thing that just came up this week. So go ahead, do that, and then you get the feeds. It helps Seaside get the message out. It creates greater activity. It creates a lot of good, and you get to hear messages that are going on here. So like me, please. I feel like high school. So anyway, hey guys, anything you want to share? Did you get any of those suckers? Everybody got a lollipop when you came in today, right? No. See, our concept is we gift you first and then it comes back. First you give, then it comes back. You were supposed to receive this wonderful heartsucker that Debbie McDonald was able to get for us. This is what they look like. And the philosophy is we give back. But next week we'll see if we can get it right for you. They'll be at the door. Okay. Anyway, hey guys, would anybody like to share something? What'd you guys do today? Candy. Well, maybe you don't get a sucker.
Well, we were just learning a lot of lessons about how the earth is and how it should be.
Oh, that is very valuable. Yeah, come on up here, Abigail. Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Well, I'm just going to say what I'm grateful for.
That's good.
I'm grateful for my parents and all that I am going to live for.
No, this is pretty good. Hey, I'm grateful. I'm seeing our youth program growing. We are having more and more people here all the time. This is fabulous. Anybody else want to share? Okay, think about it for next week. This is so fun to see. Look what's going on, guys. There's something positive happening within our youth and family program. It's because we love them. We put our kids right on the top of our list. So I want to pray. Then you guys can eat something from the cookbook crew that's out there. But what I want to do right now is just connect and partake of the divine meal of God. For truly that life force, that first breath, first cause, that all-initiating energy, that that thrust, that put my awareness into activity, I know right now that I am that, ever expanding, coming to a greater realization, deepening the faith and conviction of my being, moving in a greater way forward in life, bringing forth that for which I have been called to do. And in this moment, I'm called to see the divine revelation of Spirit as the truth expressing for this community in this moment. That the blessings of Spirit is upon this time and space, that the grace of God is prevalent, and that each of us shifts so there becomes a greater opening for that experience, the divine flow. And so if anyone here today is experiencing a challenge, a difficulty, a constraint, a limitation, I don't care what we call that, out of easiness of being, I know right now that it can no longer borrow the life force and energy of our life. For this life is the life of God, and this is the life that's happening now. And so with that comes the sourcing, the abundance, the blessings, the grateful expression to have an avenue of life made manifest. And so here today, I know there is that affluent flow that all of us live in. That truly that heavenly expression of life's inheritance is our experience now, that the door is open. Whatever the block has been that has denied that greater flow, my faith has moved to a level that is unshakable. It is a deep conviction that moves me beyond that constraint, where I begin to experience the greater harmony within my life, within my body. There is a balance, there is a restoration of wholeness in the physical form. There's a joy of expression, a sense of fulfillment, of trusting life and its ups and its downs and its ambiguity. For truly I know that my life is the God life expressing here and now. And with that knowingness, every prayer request brought forth through our prayer request chest is now answered. That the expression of God has its way and surrounds those that reach out in a time of need. For Seaside is a consciousness. It is that heart expressed here and now. Special love goes out to Dolly Belt, who made her transition this week, knowing that she's fine, moving on with the currents of eternality, but her grandson, Dylan, who has had many organ transplants in his time, is able to feel the love and support that she has brought to her mom and him. That truly the blessings of God is right there in the midst of that family, and a love that transcends time and space. As this community continues to reside in love, comes from love, it comes from a place of kindness, knowing that the caring is the natural state in which Spirit does its work. There is something that takes place within the heart and soul of each of us, moving to an ever greater conscious connection with Source. I say thank you for all that misplaced faith that gets aligned into a deep knowingness that there can be no otherness. There is not two, there is only one, that is Spirit having its life as our very experience here, and all that is necessary to fulfill that is now experienced. The door is open, and I say thank you for this flood of good. And I let go and I trust because it's the truth, and so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I did not know the love of God who was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged and trying to make it through just one more day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. And this is what we have to say. Come on! I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know that I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm all for God. Seaside. You know there's no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm holy. For
All right, thank you. Hey, color next week is yellow. Remember that. And also, hot tip, Thursday night here, I don't usually do this, but it's good buddy speaking up at Deepak Chopra's place. Dr. Michael Beckwith and Ricky Byers bring the choir. So Thursday night, hot ticket in town. Deepak, you can call there and get it. But right now, what I want to tell you is I live my life in faith. Together, let's say this. I live my life in faith. Again, I live my life in faith. Touch your heart and say it again. I live my life in faith. One more time. I live my life in faith. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, I'm living in peace, I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, well it shines on us all. We are living in grace, we are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace shines on me. Well, it moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Amen, amen, hallelujah.